today we are going to start with Unit 6, which is Business Intelligence User Interface. So let us begin with our Unit 6. So first of all, User Interface. User Interface, which we commonly abbreviate as UI. It describes the way a user accesses and interacts with the system. That means how the user is going to interact with your system. That is called user interface. It is a physical characteristic of the application, whether it is digital or tangible. It is literally the part that you interact with, the face of the system to the user, and how they think of it. So a user interface, it should meet the needs of the user with simplicity and elegance. See, a user has to interact with whatever system, whatever computing this device has been built. So how the user can interact with that particular device, that is called the user interface. This application, they should provide such an environment which the user can handle with simplicity and with elegance. They do not have to search for the things. They do not have to look out here and there for the things they require. It should provide a proper interface so that they can easily interact with it and gain whatever they want from the application. So user interface, it is the part that the user interacts with. The part of any application, of any system that the user can interact with. The user interface, it is the point of human-computer interaction and communication in a device. We can also say that it is also the way through which a user interacts with an application or any website or any system. So, the point of human and the computer interaction, that is known as the user interface. The growing dependence of many businesses on the web application and the mobile application, it has led many companies to place increased priority on the user interface in an effort to improve the user's overall experience. See, whenever any application, whether we talk about any business intelligence application, we are currently talking about business intelligence application, that means beyond the main interface, there are many tasks which have been occurring into our business intelligence system. There are tasks of data storage, there are tasks of data transformation, data cleaning, and number of things are happening. Various data analytics tools have been used to gather the data. Now, beyond all this, the user who is using the system, who is using the business intelligence application that has been designed, he should not worry about the things which are going behind the scenes. He should be only focusing on the main interface, the main point of interaction between the person, the user, and the application, the business intelligence application. He should be provided with various options with ease so that whatever queries he has, whatever reports he wants, he can easily generate them without any hassle. So user interface, it should be in such a way that the user find it easy to retrieve any kind of data from the application built. Like you must be knowing, you must have seen that today all the businesses, they are putting so much of effort into providing better and better user interfaces. Even if a small child who does not know even ABCD, but he can so easily operate on your mobile. Why? Because the user interface provided to him, it is so user friendly. It has all the graphical images, it has all the small icons which he can so easily recognize. So he simply clicks on whatever he wants to view. Suppose he wants to view something on YouTube, he so easily knows in our mobile, that where is the icon for it, he can click on it and open various applications. So why is this happening with such an ease for a small child? Because the user interface which is provided to him, it is so user friendly, it is so simple that he, without having any knowledge of any language, he can so easily open and view the things that he wants to. So user interface, it should be in such a form that it provides the ease of work to our users. Now, there are different types of user interfaces. User interface means how the user is going to interact with the system. Nowadays, we are using number of types of user interfaces. The very first one is a graphical user interface. Graphical user interface, it is the interface in which you have been provided with the graphics. That means with the images. You are provided with the images. Obviously, if something is written in the form of text, it will take few milliseconds or few seconds to read it out and understand and then use it. But if you are being provided with the visual representation, you find it very fast. Your brain, it finds it very fast, very quickly he can understand and use that application. So that is why today we are being provided with the graphical user interfaces, where we have all the images which we can use to interact with the application. So the very first interface that is provided nowadays is the graphical user interface. Then the second one is a command line interface. Command line interface, it is basically used by various data analysts or the technical people. So in this, what happens, like if you have some operating system like Unix and all, they are providing the command line interface. That means for every application to perform anything, they have to write down the command for it, and in accordance to that, they will receive the result. So command line interface, it is a type of interface in which the user has to write down everything in the form of command. And when the command is issued, if the user wants to delete a file, what he has to do? He has to write the command. That is, it can be del, the file name, or delete the file name. That means the command has to be written, and when the command executes, then your function will be performed. So that kind of interface, that is known as a command line interface. Then you have the menu-driven user interface. In menu-driven user interface, various menus are provided. For any application, various menus are provided. Like you have seen everywhere, if you open your MS PowerPoint, MS Word, any MS Office application, what you find? You find the menus. If you want to save your work, you have to click on the file menu and press the save button. If you want to insert a symbol, you have to go to the insert menu and click on it, and then the application will be performed. So that kind of interface where various menus are being provided to you, and you have to select the menu, click on the required option, and your task will be performed. So that kind of interface, it is known as a menu-driven user interface. Then you have touch user interface. Today, everywhere, the applications that we are using, whether we are using laptop, tablets, or mobile phones, you are being provided with a touch user interface, where you have to simply touch on the particular thing and you are being provided with the application. That means touch user interface is the interface which is being provided to you in your mobile phones or your tablets. You have to simply touch them and a particular function will be performed. So that kind of interface is provided between the user and a particular application or a particular system. That is known as a touch user interface. Then we have the next one, which is a voice user interface. Alexa, Siri, all these voice assistants, what are they doing? They are understanding the voice of the person, the voice of the user, and accordingly they are performing their task. So this kind of interface where the user's voice acts as a command for the particular computing device, that kind of interface, it is known as a voice user interface. Then we have the next one, which is a form-based user interface. In form-based user interface, you will be provided with various forms. It will be a sort of dialog box that will appear. Your forms will appear in the form of dialog box. Whenever you want to perform an operation, There are interfaces which are provided in the form of forms. You have to write your queries into the forms and your function will be performed. So that kind of interface, that is one form which is known as a form-based user interface. Then you have the next one, which is a natural language user interface. It is a kind of user interface in which the user, he can work into his natural language, whatever language he uses. He can write down the data into his natural language and get the task done. So that form of interface, it is known as a natural language user interface, in which the user uses his natural language to perform the task. So these are few of the types of interfaces which can be applied onto the business application which is being designed for you. There is a business analyst, there is a data analyst who performs this task of providing you the business intelligence system, so that whatever data you receive related to your business, your data will be stored and it is retrieved in a proper format, converted into the information, and using that information you can take further decisions related to your business. So this all task is done by the data persons, technical persons, and the user. Now once this application has been built, this has to be provided to the business people, for whom you have built the application. Now there are a number of users in the business who are going to use this application. There may be some people who are technical, there may be some people who are non-technical, but still they want to use that application. So the user interface that you should provide for them, it should be in such a format, it should be so user friendly that any kind of user, any person from the organization, from the business is able to use that interface. Now, talking about querying. What is querying? Querying means asking a question and getting the desired output. Query, you have to, for gaining some information from your business application, you have to ask your question in the form of queries. So queries are requests for information from the database. Today's business intelligence system, they enable the business user to easily connect to and query the data sources provisioned for them by their technology teams. That means the business application that we are using today. In those business applications, we can so easily raise our query related to anything in our business, and we will be connected to various data sources from where the data will be collected and we will be answered for our query. So queries are basically requests for information from the databases. Menus, they typically guide the users through queries by presenting a list of predetermined parameters. How will these queries be generated? They will be presented by a list of predetermined parameters. Now, more advanced business intelligence system, they allow the user to define or to customize a query or require the query to be written in a special query language. There are few query languages also which are being used for the purpose of interacting with the business system application. The language, it can be, one of them is very popular, which is a structured query language. This structured query language, it is basically a language which is used to raise a query to retrieve the data from the databases. So now, today, more advanced business intelligence system, they allow the user to define or to customize the queries in whatever form they want. The queries can be customized, means they can be set as per the requirement of the user, or they require the query to be written in some special query language. So various applications which are being built nowadays, they provide you this query format in various forms, either in the form of definition or in the form of customization queries or in the form of writing them into the special query language. So queries are basically used to gain certain data from our business intelligence application. Now, using these software tools, you can avoid many of the pitfalls experienced when trying to use just simple spreadsheets. For example, you will be able to answer the questions such as how much money your organization is spending. This is one form of simple query that can be raised. Now, if it is a very big organization, then can we manually ask our account person to give us all the data about the total money which our organization is spending? No. But our business intelligence application, they provide us with such measurement with various tools which are working behind, and using those tools the data will be gathered and calculated and will be presented to us. And so we can raise the queries like how much money your organization is spending, and within a few milliseconds you will be rewarded with the answer to it. How much money you are making. You can raise this query and you will be getting the output. And what factors affect these numbers? Suppose now you have understood that how much money are we spending and how much money are we earning. Now you have to analyze that what factors are affecting these numbers. So even this analysis can be done and you will be presented with a full form of report set which will answer to your queries. So query basically it can be into any form related to our organization. These are the requests for information from our database. Now, how queries can benefit your business? Now, we have to see how these queries, they benefit our business. Business intelligence queries, they are used by advanced software that analyze the company's data in order to help you discover important insight within the data. These business intelligence queries, they provide us insight into our data. That means if there is a particular business, there is so much of data which is being stored into the business application, which is being used by the business or which is being delivered. Like we have discussed, even a small transaction into a superstore, it will serve as form of data for that particular business. So business intelligence query, they are used to analyze the whole company data so that we can discover some important insights into our data. Query processes can make or break a company's scalability and effectiveness if the queries they are raised in a proper format. So in that case, we can very easily get the results to our queries. So queries processes, if they are executed in a proper format and we are getting the right results out of those queries, so they can be very, very effective for our business. If we want to discuss here about some of the key benefits that a query can offer, suppose the first one, you want to know the latest version of your data every time. Every time some data is being inputted, the real-time processing is taking place into the data and you want to receive the latest version of your data. So that can be done with the help of a query. Improved communication with the team members and the stakeholders. They can be done with the help of various queries. Now the ability to ask important questions and to get valuable answers from them. They can be done with the help of queries. Improved communication between the various business users and the suppliers. It can also be done with the help of queries. So queries, they can benefit our business into various forms. We can question, we can ask any type of query and we will receive the required output.